Hey moms, welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show, where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important, to keeping your sanity. I am Jodie the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. If you're enjoying this content, please let me know by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or by downloading the podcast wherever you're listening. I truly appreciate the support, and it also helps me to know what videos you're watching, which ones you like, so I can produce more content along those lines. This is part 3 of the series of how to create a website for beginners. This series focuses on giving you the tools that you need to create a website between nap times. We've covered WordPress settings, installing the theme, and installing plugins in the first video. In the second video, we covered the Divi theme options and customizer. So today we're going to build our menu and footer using the Divi theme builder. So remember, like I said in the previous videos, there's more than one way to do something in Divi. In part 2 of the series, I showed you how to create the menu and footer in the theme customizer. Today we're going to dive in on how to do that in the Divi theme builder. We've got a lot to cover today, so I will do my best to get it done in 10 minutes, but we may need to go to 20 or 30 minutes like the last 2 videos. I have yet to do a video in 10 minutes for the building a website, but maybe, just maybe, we will do that one day. But before we get started, I'm going to get out of the way here. I want to show you what our website is going to look like. So this is the logo. We have our menu here, and you're going to see I have created some on the home page, but it is by no means done, and so we're going to create this in later videos. So right now we want to do the footer. Here's our footer. This is what we're going to create, and the menu. So that goes from here to here. So, but before we start, if you watched my video, what to do before you start building a website to make it easier, you will know the step that I am about to talk about. So before you actually sit down to create your masterpiece, draw it out. So this is what my drawing looked like. And you can see things have changed, but it at least got the creative juices flowing. So I drew out the layout of the website in my sketchpad. This allows me to just think creatively. Sometimes when you're learning something new, the creative side of your brain and the analytical side are in conflict. So drawing out your website allows your creative brain to be free and to think unfettered. And you don't need to be a great artist. You can use rectangles and squares to lay it out, just like Mondrian. And you can erase and you can cross out and redraw quickly. So if you were trying to figure this out on your website, you wouldn't be able to think and change things as freely. So that's why I always encourage you to draw out the layout before you actually sit down to build it. And then when you do sit down to start building your website, you can focus on the functionality instead of trying to be creative and be functional at the same time. So I just find the process of sitting down and drawing out what I want and then going to the website to build it is a much better process. So here's the sketch. This is my sketch that I made for the home page. And as we start building, you will see that I didn't stick with this initial layout. So the layout evolved as my creative juices started flowing. This is all my notes and just getting things down on paper quickly. Out of my head and onto paper helps the process tremendously. But I even took the sketch a step further and I started designing it in Canva. because I wanted to see, I had some ideas of the pictures and the colors in my head, but I wanted to take a step further and start seeing how everything would actually start coming together. So, and you will see, like, if we go back to the home page that I showed you, I've changed these since designing them, just starting to lay them out in Canva. Let's see. Here we go. So as you can see, this has changed. The bar is different. The pictures have a different layout. I made this darker for the tagline. So it has changed, and that will happen as you draw things out. So get your paper and pencil out and get into your creative zone. Since we have an idea of our layout and we've created an outline, see what to do before we start building a website to make it easier, we will go ahead and add our pages. So we're not designing anything at this point. We will just add them and hit publish. The coming soon page is still live, so no one will see the pages we are creating. But making the pages live will allow us to add them to our menu widget. And since we're designing the header today, we want to see the menu as we design. So we're going to add our home, about, packages, albums, blog, and book. If we want to change the names later, we can, or we can change the page altogether. That is also an option. So let's come to pages. We're going to just trash these. We're going to close out all of these notifications up here because we're not setting anything up. And we'll trash the privacy policy as well. Or if you need a privacy policy, keep it. So let's go to add new. We're just going to type in home and hit publish. So all these red sad faces that you're seeing, they're from Yoast. So we're not setting up Yoast right now. Okay, so we're going to add the rest. Now that our pages are live, let's create the menu. You want to go to appearances or appearance, menus. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is name the menu, and I usually just stick with main menu. And we want to put the location as the primary menu. Remember back in the theme customizer in part 2, when we created our menu in there, this is telling the customizer which menu that's for. So if you remember, we had the main menu or primary menu, we had a secondary menu, and we had a footer menu. So this is letting the theme know which menu we're about to create and where it should go. So create menu. Okay, so now we want to add to the menu. So we want to add all of these pages. So we won't add home. We want to add them all to the menu. And I'm not going to add home because we're just going to make the logo, since it's so big, we're just going to make that the home button for the menu. Okay, so now let's put these in the order that we want listed. So I want about first. Now I'll just show you. So if we wanted to change the name, we would just change the navigation label right here. And so it would show up as, if we change this to, let's just say, about Jodie. This is how it would show up on the menu. But we're just going to stick with about. Okay, and if we wanted to make these sub-menus, so one of these links would be part of a drop-down, you just pull it over just like this. So now you can see it's labeled as a sub-menu, but these are all main menus. So let's do about. I want to put book. Let's do albums. So we'll do about, albums, blog, packages, and book. And let's hit save menu. Now let's get into building the header and the footer. I like to build these first because they show up on every single page. So they will have a big influence on the overall design. You can change it as you get deeper into the design too. So I usually end up tweaking the header a number of times, but this will give you an idea of as you design the pages, of what the whole package is going to look like. So let's get into building the global header in Divi. Now, when you hear the term global, that means it's going to be on every single page, and Divi will have it show up as a lime green color in the builder. Okay, what's great about building it in the Divi theme is if you want to change the header for a specific page, this allows you to do it. If you're doing it in the theme customizer, you have one header and that's it. But if you're building in the Divi builder, you're able to change the header for specific pages. So for an example, so my header for lifeunboxed.blog is this pink bar, as well as my tagline and me. But if you go into the category pages or the post pages, you'll see that it's just the pink header, that I am no longer in there. So I built the menu and my logo in the Divi builder, but I was able to change it for specific pages. So right now, let's just get into building the header. So we're going to hit Add Global Header. We're going to build from scratch. So the first thing that we want to add is we've added the section has been automatically added. That will show up as blue. The green indicates a row and the gray is the module. So right now we're going to add the logo. So I want to do this 3-column module right here. And you can see it's 1/2, you have 1/4, 1/2, 1/4. That's about what it looks like. All right, we're not adding anything to this first module. We want to add to the second column. And we want to put in an image module. Okay, and we're going to add the logo. Upload image. And there's our logo, and it's huge. So we don't want to have it this big. So let's go into the design settings, and we're going to sizing, and we want to change the image width to 43%. And we want the module alignment to be center, so it's right in the center there. And I also want to change the top margin because I don't want so much white space. So let's go to spacing, and we're going to do -10%. I'm not using pixels because pixels are a fixed measurement, whereas percentage will allow flexibility depending on the size of the screen. So we will be making the website responsive in another video, but I just wanted to tell you why I'm using percentages instead of pixels. So let's go ahead and save what we did here. And now we're going to add another row. So that's this green section. The blue section is section, and the green is the row. So let's add a new row, and we're going to do a single column, and we are going to add the menu. So you can see, since we only have one menu made, it immediately pulled our main menu in. So there's a couple of things that we want to do right now. So before we get into the main menu settings, I want to go and we are going to design our row settings. So in the row settings, let's go ahead and let's design it. So I want to make this full width. So 100% on the width and also 100% on the max width. So let's save that. Don't worry, we're going to move this, I promise. So in our row settings, I want to add the background color. And you can see we still have a background color on our menu settings, but we'll fix that. So let's go into our menu settings now. and go down to background, and we're just going to trash it. But now we can't see the text. So let's start designing our content here. So we're going to go into design, and we want to center our menu. Move that down here. And we also want to change the menu text. So let's make it our cream color. Oh, that's the active link color. That's the wrong one. So I want to change the active link color to this tan. So this will be if I'm on the about page, then the letters here are going to show up as this tan color. I want to change it to, let's see, do we want all caps? I think we'll go with the large caps, small caps. So menu text color, here we go. Now we can see it. And I want to change my font size. Let's see. So let's make the menu font size 16 pixels. Might be too small. We'll have to play around with it. Let's do the menu letter spacing. Let's make it 2 pixels. And yeah, we're gonna make this just a little bit bigger. So 20 pixels for the menu size. So there's a couple of other things that we want to do. So I'm happy with how this looks. And of course, there's always more things that you can design, but I'm happy with how it looks now. So we'll just leave it. And like I said, you can always come back. So we want to make the section sticky. So let's go to scroll effects. And we're going to say stick to the top. So what this is going to do is everything underneath this main menu section is going to scroll underneath, and this is going to stay at the top. So stick to the top. Yep. So we're just going to hit save. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, now that we've made our menu sticky, is we want to get rid of this white space underneath. You see that? Because it's going to show up it will show up as on the scroll. So the theme thinks that this is where the sticky needs to stop or start. So let's go into design and let's go into spacing. We want to make sure our padding is 0. Margin is 0. Just make it all 0. As now you can see that there's no additional white space underneath the bar. You can see where the blue frame is. So, and that's how we want it. So let's go ahead and save. And we have just built our Divi header. Hey moms, thanks for joining me today for part 3 as I showed you how to make the Divi header. I know I promised that I was going to show you the footer today too, but to get these videos 10 minutes, we're going to have to split that up. So in the next video, I am going to show you how to build the footer in the Divi Builder. So stay tuned.